To elaborate on this a bit more further for us, we're now joined by Basic Education Department spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga, and he joins us now via our video link. Elijah, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. Now, of course, just listening there to the Minister, a lot has been done to ensure that these 2024 matric exams are carried out. When it comes to, your state of preparedness, and it's just a few more hours left to go until those matrics sit for their final papers. How prepared are you?
Good evening, Buddy. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Well, we are prepared. Everything that needed to be done has been done. There's not much that you can change at this point. All the question papers have been delivered and secured where they're supposed to be. We know that during this time, our district directors do not sleep because they must make sure that at the right time, the storage facilities are opened and that the principals of the different schools are able to get there and do the collections for timers delivery at the school where they work. So all of those things have been done, and meetings have been held, and that everyone is really waiting for the hour to kickstart the exams.
And what went into the preparations, to hold the 2024 matric exams? Also, particularly at a time where it is the Minister's first matric exams that she will be overseeing following the changes which were done this year.
Yeah, so with the exams, we actually start the preparations immediately after we have announced the results of the current class. So in January already, we were preparing to start the arrangements for the administration of this exam that we're in now. And there's about 200 meetings that happen between then and now, just to make sure that all the boxes are ticked and that all the improvements that need to be made to secure the system based on the learnings of the past exam administration needs to be put in place as well. So we have done everything that we can, and you know that the current administration came right in the middle of the year, so we had to move with speed to bring the minister on board in terms of understanding what needs to be done. You will recall also that she's currently embarked on a tour of provinces in what is called the Listening and Learning Tour. This is one of the things that she's been learning as she's been going through provinces, talking to them about the work that they do. So even on this one, she's been fully briefed. That's why she was able to take the nation into her confidence with the confidence that was required today, because you could see that she was talking about something that she understands. So we're happy that she's on board and she understands what needs to be done and that she's ready for it. In fact, even tomorrow she will be visiting a school in Soshanguve to see the preparedness of the learners themselves. The way we look at it is that we look at the state of readiness of the learners themselves in terms of the curriculum coverage. And then we look at the state of readiness for the system as to whether all the logistical arrangements are in place to complement the work that the teachers would have done in the classroom. So if both sides are ready, then we are confident that indeed we can start the exam in earnest, which is what is going to happen at 9 o'clock come tomorrow morning.
And talking about, this class of matrics, these learners which you speak of, I mean, they are quite unique to our country. They were in grade 8 when we experienced the COVID-19 pandemic. And when it comes to how different you had to prepare this group of matriculants, particularly because, I mean, they would have lost out on so much during, the pandemic. What went into preparing for this class when you compare it to the other classes who had the liberty of time?
Well, Bali, two things. One, we can say they were negatively impacted by the COVID, but at the same time, they benefited from the lessons that we learned when it comes to the work that went into the recovery program to help the other grades to catch up. So the fact that they stayed a little longer in the system after the implementation of the recovery program means that they were beneficiaries of whatever efforts that we put in place to support the grade 12s of 2020 and the grade 11s that followed thereafter, and all other grades that needed support. So we did a lot to support them because we already back then predicted that there was going to be a negative impact on their results if support was not put in place and sustained so that they're able to reach some kind of recovery and us having to address the devastating impact of COVID. So we did a lot. I think the minister today, the DG as well as Dr. Mtembu, the DDG for curriculum, as well as Dr. Paula, were able to elaborate on the work that was done to support them, avail material, avail spaces that is safe and secured for them to have additional opportunities for learning and revision. So all of those things that we have done, we believe that they are ready for the exams, and we hope that their families are equally supporting them, because it has to be a strong partnership between the school as well as the home, so that they get the balance of support that they need for them to be able to face this exam with confidence.
And I mean, Elijah, I'm sure you've seen the weather warnings from the South African Weather Service. So when it comes to inclement weather that will be experienced in some parts of the country from today onwards. And what are the contingency measures which have been put in place by the Basic Education Department to ensure that, those schools which are prone to flooding, that learning and teaching does continue, and more importantly, that those matric exams will be held in those schools?
Well, Mbali, we are part of the Disaster Management Forum, which looks after services that the government provides to families, to communities in the country. That's the first point. The second point is that we have a long-standing agreement with the Department of Defense, who avail their resources that are able to assist us when there's a need for such. And the good part this time around is that the Minister of Defense is the former Minister of Basic Education, so she has a very good understanding of our needs when it comes to rescuing us from disasters such as the one that we could encounter with the adverse weather conditions that have been predicted. By the way, we also have a partnership with the SA Weather Service, who give us a long-term view in terms of the weather patterns. So we advise our district accordingly, and all our officials in provinces and districts, to make sure that we prepare for the weather conditions that may arise in their own area. So we believe that the resources of the government have been put in place to make sure that there are no disruptions in the exams. If any, then we will be able to minimize those and ensure that the exam continues without any further delays.
And Elijah, the class of 2023 obtained an 82.9% pass rate. What are your projections or targets for this group of matrics?
Well, anything higher than that, we are going to appreciate. What we would like to see is a decline. That is not desirable. So anything above that, or at least minimum, if we retain the same pass mark, would be pass rate. Rather, we would be happy with that, but we're always aiming for an improvement in the results, and we've worked hard to ensure that we achieve that. So we hope that the class of 2024 is going to assist us to achieve that goal.
All right, Elijah, thank you so much for your time, and good luck to all those matrics who will be sitting for tomorrow's first paper. They'll be writing the English paper tomorrow. And of course, that is Basic Education Department spokesperson there, Elijah Mhlanga, giving us his insight in terms of the preparations.